Not every story begins with comfort. Some begin with struggles so heavy. Even children grow up too early. This is the story of Adama, a young girl born into poverty, in a small home where dreams were many, but money was never enough. In a house where silence spoke louder than laughter, Adama learned something painful at a very young age. That love is not always enough to remove suffering. Her father worked hard every day, but the money never stayed. Her mother folded hope into old clothes, praying for a better tomorrow that never seemed to come. And Adama, a caramel-skinned beauty with dreams hidden behind quiet eyes, made a decision that would change everything. She looked at the distant city, glowing like another world. A place people said was full of opportunities, but also full of danger. And one evening, she spoke words that shocked her home. Adama, I want to go to the city and work as a house help. Her parents froze, because they knew the city does not raise the weak gently. But Adama was not running from her family. She was running from poverty itself. And sometimes, the biggest risk in life is not leaving home. It is believing you can survive what you are walking into. And so, Adama stepped toward a life she had never lived before. But what she didn't know was, the city was already waiting for her, with lessons she could never unlearn. The next morning, Adama woke up before the sun fully rose. She stared at her reflection and reminded herself why she came. She was not here for comfort. She was here to fight poverty. With determination in her heart, she stepped out of her room. But her first lesson came sooner than she expected. A loud voice echoed through the mansion. It was Madam, the woman who controlled everything in the house. And from the look on her face, Adama knew this would not be easy. Before breakfast, the chores began. And they never seemed to end. The mansion was bigger than anything Adama had ever seen. Every room needed cleaning. Every surface needed polishing. And every mistake could cost her the opportunity she desperately needed. Hour after hour, she worked. Her hands became tired. Her feet became heavy. But she refused to complain. Back home, her parents were counting on her. And giving up was not an option. Then something happened. One small mistake. A mistake that made her heart stop. While cleaning an expensive table, Adama accidentally touched a crystal vase. The vase shook. It tilted. And before she could stop it, it crashed to the floor. The sound echoed throughout the mansion. And in that moment, fear filled Adama's heart. When Madam saw the broken vase, her face immediately changed. To Madam, it wasn't just a vase. It was a costly mistake. And for Adama, it was her first warning. Later that afternoon, exhausted and discouraged, Adama sat alone in the garden. For the first time since arriving in the city, she felt homesick. She missed her parents. She missed her simple life. And she wondered if she had made the wrong decision. But just when loneliness was starting to overwhelm her, someone unexpected appeared. It was Kofi, the young gardener. Unlike everyone else, he greeted her with kindness. And for the first time that day, Adama smiled. Sometimes life sends us a friend, right when we need one most. As evening approached, the mansion became strangely quiet. Adama was carrying laundry upstairs when she heard voices. Voices coming from a room that was usually locked. Curiosity stopped her in her tracks. One voice belonged to Madam. But the other voice belonged to a man she had never seen before. Unknown man, nobody must find out. Those words sent chills through Adama. What secret were they hiding? And why did they sound so afraid? The more she listened, the more confused she became. But before Adama could walk away, something happened. The office door suddenly opened. And standing in the doorway was Madam. Her eyes locked onto Adama. And in that instant, the hallway became silent. Madam, were you listening? Adama's heart began to race. Should she tell the truth? Should she lie? Or had she already stepped into a dangerous secret she was never meant to hear? Were you listening? For a moment, Adama forgot how to breathe. Her heart pounded against her chest. One wrong answer could cost her everything. Adama, nervously, no, madam. I was only passing by with the laundry. Madam stared at her for several seconds, as if trying to see through her soul. Finally, madam, good. Mind your business and do your work. Adama nodded quickly. But deep inside, she knew something wasn't right. That night, Adama couldn't sleep. The mysterious conversation replayed again and again in her mind. Nobody must find out. What did it mean? Who was the strange man? And what secret was hidden inside the mansion? Rain began falling outside. Thunder echoed in the distance. Sometimes curiosity opens doors. But sometimes, it opens trouble. The next morning, while cleaning upstairs, Adama noticed something unusual. A door at the end of the hallway. A door she had never seen open. Unlike every other room in the mansion, this one was always locked. As she swept nearby, she noticed the door wasn't fully closed, just slightly open. Adama looked around. Nobody was there. Slowly, she pushed the door. The room was dark. Dust floated through sunlight coming from the window. Inside were stacks of boxes, old files, documents, and dozens of photographs. At first, it looked like an ordinary storage room. But then Adama saw something strange. A photograph. She picked it up, and her eyes widened. The photo showed Madam standing beside a young girl. A girl who looked almost exactly like Madam. But Adama had never seen her in the mansion. Who was she? And why had nobody ever mentioned her? Suddenly, footsteps approached. Adama quickly turned. The door slammed open. It was Kofi. Kofi, shocked, Adama. What are you doing here? Adama, the door was open. Kofi's face immediately changed. Kofi, you shouldn't be here. Adama, why? Kofi looked nervous. Kofi, because Madam doesn't allow anyone inside this room. Scene 6, the warning. Kofi carefully looked around, making sure nobody was nearby. Then he lowered his voice. Kofi, listen carefully. There are things in this house people don't talk about. Things better left alone. For the first time, Adama saw fear in Kofi's eyes. Real fear. Ending cliffhanger. Later that evening, Adama returned to her room. She opened her small bag and suddenly froze. Inside was an envelope. She had never seen it before. Slowly, she opened it. Inside was a note. The handwriting was messy. It read, "If you want the truth about the mansion, meet me tomorrow night." No name. No explanation. Only those words. Who sent the note? How did it get into her room? And what truth was someone trying so desperately to reveal? Adama read the note again. And again. And again. "If you want the truth about the mansion, meet me tomorrow night." Who wrote it? How did it get into her room? And most importantly, what truth was someone risking so much to reveal? That night, sleep never came. The next morning, Adama tries to focus on her chores. But her mind is elsewhere. Every room she cleaned. Every floor she swept. The mysterious letter followed her thoughts. Suddenly, Madam appears. Madam, Adama. Adama jumps. For a second, she thought Madam knew everything. Madam, stop daydreaming and finish your work. Adama nodded. But something felt different. Madam seemed nervous. Distracted. Afraid. Later that afternoon, Adama secretly takes another look at the photograph she found. The one showing Madam and the mysterious young girl. The more she looked at the girl's face, the more questions appeared. The girl looked happy, comfortable, loved. Yet there was not a single picture of her anywhere else in the mansion. Almost as if someone wanted her erased. Night finally arrives. The mansion becomes quiet. The lights begin to go out one by one. Adama's heart raced. This was the moment. Carefully, she sneaks outside. Behind the mansion stood an old abandoned gazebo surrounded by trees. The exact place written on the note. She arrives. Nobody is there. The wind blows. Leaves rustle. Then, a shadow appears. A hooded elderly woman slowly steps out of the darkness. Adama freezes. Adama, who are you? The woman lowers her hood. She is old. Kind-looking. But worried. Old woman, you must be Adama. The stranger knew her name. And that immediately frightened her. Adama, did you write the letter? The woman nods. Old woman, yes. Adama, why? The woman's eyes fill with sadness. Old woman, because you're in danger. The words hit Adama like lightning. Danger. What danger? The woman reaches into her bag. She pulls out an old photograph. It is the same girl from the locked room. But this time, the picture includes Madam. And a man Adama has never seen before. Old woman, that girl is Madam's daughter. Adama's eyes widen. Adama, Madam has a daughter. Old woman, had. Silence. Old woman, 5 years ago. She disappeared. The air suddenly felt colder. The old woman continues. Old woman, nobody knows what happened. One day she was here. The next day, she was gone. Adama, what do you mean gone? Old woman, she vanished. No goodbye. No explanation. Nothing. Suddenly, the old woman stops talking. Her face changes. Fear fills her eyes. She looks behind Adama. Old woman, whispering, don't turn around. Adama's heart pounds. Every instinct told her to look. But she couldn't move. The old woman grabs Adama's hand. Old woman, someone followed you. A dark figure stands between the trees. Watching them. Completely still. Only the silhouette is visible. Who was watching them? Was it Madam? The mysterious businessman? Or someone connected to the missing daughter? The dark figure suddenly takes one step forward. The old woman gasped. Old woman, oh no. He found us. Adama came to the city searching for a better life. But now, she was standing in the middle of a mystery far bigger than she ever imagined. The old woman's face was filled with fear. Not fear for herself, but fear for Adama. Old woman, you must leave this place. Immediately. Adama, why? The old woman grabs Adama's hand tightly. Old woman, because you are next. Next. What did she mean? The old woman takes a deep breath. Old woman, many years ago, Madam was poor. Very poor. Her husband abandoned her. She was left alone with her only daughter. She became desperate for a better life. One day, Someone promised Madam wealth. A shortcut to riches. Money. Success. Luxury. And at first, it worked. The money started coming. The businesses grew. The mansion appeared. Everything she ever wanted became hers. The old woman lowers her head. Old woman, but the riches came with a price. The very thing she loved most. Her daughter. Adama's heart nearly stopped. The daughter disappeared. People believed she had simply vanished. But the truth was darker. After losing her daughter, Madam could never find peace. The demands never stopped. And over the years, many house girls came and went. Nobody asked questions. Until now. The old woman looks directly into Adama's eyes. Old woman, you are the next target. Fear rushed through Adama's body. For the first time since arriving in the city, she truly understood the danger. That same night, the old woman and Kofi secretly help Adama pack her belongings. The mansion is silent. Everyone is asleep. Or so they hope. With only a small suitcase, Adama quietly walked away from the mansion. The same way she had arrived. But this time, she wasn't chasing dreams. She was protecting her life. A few weeks later, Adama finds work with a kind family. A family that treats her with respect. A family that values honesty. The pay was smaller. The house was simpler. But Adama finally had something she never had in the mansion. Peace. Months later, Adama bought a bus. This time with a smile. Not fear. Not uncertainty. Just gratitude. She returns to her village. Her parents are outside their home when they see her. For a moment, nobody moves. Then her mother runs toward her. Tears fill her eyes. Her father smiles proudly. Adama hugs both parents tightly. When Adama left home, she believed wealth was the answer. But life taught her something more valuable. Money earned through darkness never brings true happiness. Real success comes from honest work. Real wealth is having people who love you. Flows across the village. Peace. Hope. A new beginning. Never be fooled by shortcuts that promise everything. The best things in life take time. And sometimes, walking away is the bravest decision you can make.